How you going, brothers? I'll try and get through this video with these guys here. I've got the little toilet brush from the homestead. I'm looking after it. It's not working today because I've got COVID there, and the little dog goes from one person to another. It's a comfort dog. It goes around all the elderly people at the homestead in Wakefield and it comforts them, but with COVID in the house, it can actually carry the virus, so I'm looking after it again. It's like a little toilet brush. Anyway, last night's video, I had to take it down, and I'm pissed off I had to take it down because it was actually rating at #1. It was very, very popular, and thanks to everyone that gave me a message about that. It resonated with a lot of men, that one, and I'm going to tell a story that's very similar because it's an important issue to address, but more importantly is to give you guys a solution to the problem, because so many men have been in that situation where the missus has done a runner and taken half of everything, and you're still having to support her. So why did I take it down? Well, my mate that I talked about, through association with myself, his ex saw it because they know me, they watch my other channel, and they've got kids, and she contacted me. She said, my kids will know that you're talking about us when you talk about my husband's name. Take it down, please. And I thought about that, and I thought, Cessna, what a wake up. Airport, I'm on a flight zone here, they're always going over. And I thought about that. I thought, you know, when children are involved, doesn't, yes. And I said, look, I'm sorry, I didn't even think about that, so that's gone. Plus, I even changed a lot of stuff in the story, so you couldn't even tell what happened in that, but still, forget about that. So the theme is men being shafted by their partners and using their ex-partners using the system to get everything from them and leave them high and dry with nothing. For the best part, most men just want to be a father. So I've got to talk about Keith. And Keith is, and was, and still is a mate. And I talked to him on the phone this morning, said, can I tell you a story? Because I don't want to take this one down. He said, absolutely, mate. It's a story that a lot of men will understand. It's just so common. Keith is a guy that I rate as being an absolute good bastard. Give you the shirt off his back. He met his lovely lady, and she looked lovely, at least. She looked good on the outside. I was with him when he met her. And yeah, both of us were like looking at it, and he was the better man of the day, and he got her. I was a single man. It's going back a long time now. But she had expensive tastes, and she didn't want to work much, man. And first of all, they got together, and Keith was renting a place over in Sumner, in Christchurch, and I was working as a sales rep at the time, and he was renting that, and she wanted to have a house, and she talked him into like buying a place up in the hills. And then back then they were expensive. They still are today, I think. Well, I think the earthquakes have changed prices there now, I don't know. So he bit the bullet. He was only young, and they moved in together, and he worked and she worked in I think it was a salon part-time, but most of the time she was out spending his money on stuff, and he was struggling to pay the mortgage, and she used to go out, and she liked to drink, and he worked his bum off to pay that house off. She got pregnant, and they actually had twins, and that was a lot of work for her, and she was, in fairness, a really good mum, and he did his part. Money came home every day, and she raised the two twins and did a great job of that. Years went by. The twins ended up going into some sort of a program. I think it was something that cost extra money. You could get your kids involved. I forget what it was, but it cost a lot of money. But Keith said, yeah, no, I'm with that. So did that. But it meant that his wife, the kids would be away for like 4 or 5 days at a time, and he was still working. She wasn't. She'd gone from being a mum full time, which is a full time job, and she started seeing another guy. I don't know the story of how they met and that, but she started seeing him and having an affair. And this affair went on for 2 years, and Keith had no idea about it. And she waited till she got all her ducks in a row, and she was all financially like set up and everything. And Keith come home. He'd been away on he belonged to one of those. Oh, hold on a minute. Hey, sit down. That's enough. Calm down. Just calm these dogs down. That'll do. I think a Lions Club thing, or a round table, I forget it was. He'd been away, and he came back, and she says, I want a divorce. And he just never saw it coming. She didn't say, I'm seeing someone else. She said, I want a divorce, and I'm filing for divorce. I've talked to my lawyer. And he said, what? And the same thing, which happened so much, he had no idea. And they sold the house. She took half the value of that, and she still remained having custody of the kids. And she won the custody, and he could only see them every second weekend. So he had to pay for her while she wasn't working. He was renting a place somewhere in Christchurch, and she was busy banging this new fella. I don't know who that was. And he couldn't be a dad. And he struggled. I went round to his place, and he was only having a downer. Now, Keith was a really good pool player. He used to have a pool table in his garage, and because he had to sell his house to pay her out, the new place that he was renting was too small and he couldn't put his pool table anywhere, and he was selling it. Back in those days, I don't think even trading was around then. And I'd gone on and over to his place to help him with a trader. He was delivering to some bloke's place. He was selling that, and he was just depressed. I said, mate, I'm going to help you get out of this, but you're going to have to do a little bit of work yourself. He said, how am I going to do that? I'm stuffed, mate. I've got nothing left. He was still in love with her. His whole rug had been swept out from under his feet. His whole life had gone. And he was also financially stuffed. And he'd done all the work financially as far as working. Yes, granted, she'd done all the work raising the kids, and that's a big job. But he just had to start from the beginning again. So I said, mate, I've got a young guy that I can't take out. He loves fishing. His mum is on the bottle, and his dad doesn't know where he is. Just need to spend once or twice a week, take him out. Can you do that? Oh, I suppose, he said. So he took this young fella out, and the first 2 trips he called me back. He says, oh look, it's not working out with this young fella, man. He swears, and he's smoking in the car, and he's like, was he smoking? He's only fucking 13. Yeah, he took a cigarette out and smoked it. I said, did you let him? He says, oh well, what can I do? I said, you're the dad now. You got to step up. You got to tell him, hey, none of that shit. You got to give him some guidance. He's just a loose cannon. You've got to be responsible, mate. Do I? I said, absolutely. That's your job. Oh, but he's not my son. I said, no, but he hasn't got a dad, so that's why you got to step up. Am I allowed to do that? I said, of course you are. He said, where do I get the authority from? I said, I'll give you the authority. You've got it from me. Do it. So they kept on going out. This kid was a bloody hard case. He had his own bloody tobacco that he grew. He had lots of bad things I won't tell you about, but bloody naughty stuff. Keith actually started to discipline him a bit and say, well, we'll go fishing, but you can't do this and you can't do that, and this is what you can do. And I said to him, make sure that you're hard and fast with your rules and what you're doing with them, and Keith was good. Keith was somebody that probably, if he had the right upbringing, he would have been, I don't know, a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, because he was a clever bugger. But like me, he left home at 15 and his parents didn't really care where he was, or even, there was no chance of him going to university or anything. But he had that natural intelligence. So the kid and him carried on fishing, and they actually started to get on well when he started laying down a few rules. And the kid also enjoyed trap target shooting, so they joined up with a club somewhere. I don't know where that was because I never went along to see them, but he told me that he also got involved with some of the community work of painting the club and helping out, and he started to get involved in his community. And then the young fellow who was taking it had a mate that was in a similar situation, so Keith started looking after him. 6 months down the track, every weekend he was taking this young fella fishing or out collecting firewood or doing anything, and his mate. And when they weren't doing that, they were down at the trap target shooting club and they were doing stuff. Bottom line is that Keith today is going really well, still mates with that young fella. I mean, he's my age, and here's the thing. If your partner bails on you, or if you're a man that's alone somewhere and you're struggling, sitting at home, worrying about yourself, thinking about yourself will just make you feel like shit. It doesn't make anything any better. It just gets worse. Smoking drugs will numb you for a while, but it won't fix the problem. Drinking won't fix it. Excessive working, excessive gambling, womanizing, none of these things work. The thing that helps you regain your sense of worth, your well-being and your place on this planet is caring for somebody else, because that's what us men are supposed to do. That's what women are supposed to do too. We're here to care. That's what you're here for. You're not here just to get pleasure all the time and have your emotional needs met, and that doesn't make you happy. That just is a temporary thing. In fact, it leads down to one thing, dopamine, that you get from sex and drugs and all that, just wants one thing. Wants more dopamine. And that never works. But when you start to extend yourself outside of yourself and you start to work with the community around you and help people, your network gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. If I didn't have the network I've got around me today, I couldn't get through each day. I'm sure physically I'm really struggling. I'm struggling. But I'm going to get through it. I've got community around me. And Keith found by helping someone else, it took the pressure off himself, and he discovered within himself that he had a purpose, and he found the value in what it means to truly connect up with community. That's what you got to do. Don't isolate yourself. If you're lonely, it's because you haven't extended outside yourself to help somebody else. So help somebody else. Right, I better watch these dogs. I'll let them carry on and do their little run round. Go steady, and I'll leave you with the dogs running around the paddock. See you later. I don't think it's going to focus. It's got rain on the screen. Is it going to focus? Oh, what's going on with that? Oh, there we go. That dog's got such unfortunate little legs. It can't possibly even get involved with that. And if it did, well, what's going to happen, hey? Hey, Tilly? You finished? Hey? You go pear-shaped with a little dog in the mix. Oh, Tilly, cut it out. Little Irish Terrier, I think is what it is. Calm down, calm down. That'll do. That'll do. Calm down. Calm down. Poe's sitting down here just looking at me. That's right, boss. Good girl, Poe. Righto. We'll see you later, guys. See ya. Okay, come out of there, you little toilet brush. Come here. Tilly, come. Good girl. Tilly, come. Tilly, come. You're not going to mix up with the big guns, okay? You're too small.